More Witchwood spoilers. Review stuff. Archmage Ergal. Get into the mage cards. This card's bad, maybe. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't look that great, honestly. It's a very powerful effect, drawing minions, and like just duplicating cards is like a Chromagus effect, scaled down significantly, which could be quite powerful. It's just like 2 mana, 2/2. I don't know. Maybe the card's actually okay. It's like if you look at it where you line it up to where it actually triggers, then it's like a 2 mana 2/2. Like turn 5, you play this in Arcane Intellect. If you hit even one minion, it's a 2 mana 2/2. Create a minion that was already in your deck, and that's really strong. It's just a question of like if you can put together a shell in which is very good. So if a deck like that exists, it's actually probably okay. I think I'm being too hard on it. It's just not. It's not itself like powerful enough to define a deck like that. I don't think. I could be wrong. Book of Specters though is strong enough to define a deck like that. In Standard, you could do like an elemental mid-range kind of things, like the obvious stuff. You don't discard the hero card, which is notable. If you have like a high enough minion density, if like 2/3 of your deck is minions, then Book of Specters is crazy. Crazy. It'll be 2 mana draw 3 most of the time, and sometimes it's 2 mana draw 2, which is still just ridiculously good. Yeah. This card's crazy. In Wild, it enables Giants Mage. So, more Giants decks. Cool. Snap Freeze is what Shatter should have been. Honestly, they should just update Shatter, but they don't like to buff old cards for reasons. So we're literally reprinting Shatter as what it should have been in the first place. Come on, Blizzard. Like, you can do better than that. Just buff cards. Like, let go of your pride. Sometimes you fuck up. Buff the card. It's fine. Let's talk about what it is, though. You freeze a thing. If it's already frozen, destroy it. So basically, the idea is that you play this for the destroy effect, right? You just pretend this is Shatter. And so if your deck already has a lot of freeze effects, and you want to destroy things for 2 mana, you put this in. But it's not actually a dead card now. You can actually, if you're desperate, just play it to freeze something. 2 mana freeze a guy is really bad, but at least it does something. And it also makes it more tolerable to get off of random spell generation. So I think it's a very cool card. I don't think it's going to revolutionize anything. I'm more disappointed that they just don't like go back and fix. Like, this is a digital game. You can just go edit the shit. Nobody's gonna be upset that their Shatter got better. You know, just it's fine. Go fix it. Stop doing this. I feel like every set now we get a card that's just like a power creeped old jank that nobody plays, and it's still jank. So I don't know why they do that. Black Cat. This card is crazy strong, like completely broken. This card is completely broken. So, Azure Drake was so strong that they couldn't print 5-drops that competed with it. So they had to remove it from the game. Or I guess move it to Wild, remove it from Standard. And this is a 3-mana version of it. For only 1/1 less. So it's smaller, but it's significantly big. The main reason you'd play the card in the first place, the Drake, was the effects. Like, the body was just good enough, whatever. But it's mainly for the effects. Here you're getting it earlier. Cheaper's always better in Hearthstone, really. It's such a tempo-driven game, and it's on curve instead of being slightly under curve. And you get all the effects. Card's just completely insane. Now, as we talked about before, though, Odd Mage in Standard, I don't think works right now. It could in the future, for sure. I don't think it has any real chance of working right now, just because you can't run Frostbolt Fireball or Aluneth. Or Pyroblast even. As like a last resort. You don't even have that. So it's like you can... This wants to go in like an aggressive mage deck with no... with like no way to hit the opponent in the face. So that doesn't make sense. But in Wild, I think this card's going to be completely bonkers. And if support, like even a little support comes out in Standard in like a set or two, we could be seeing this dominating Standard in like a year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. This card's crazy. Cinderstorm. Yeah, more randomized AoE removal. I mean, it's fairly costed. It's not so strong that I think we're going to see that much. We might see some. It's pretty okay. I don't really like cards like this because it's just spray and pray. Sometimes you get really lucky and you win games off of it. Sometimes you get really unlucky and you lose games off of it. And that's just kind of shitty design, but I mean, it's not offensive, and it's 3 for 5 is a pretty good ratio. It's like this is worse than Arcane Missiles, though, right? Which is 1 for 3. Here you get 2 whole more missiles, but it's for 3 times the price. And a card like that, a 1-mana spell is extremely powerful in Mage, right? Because you can make it cost 0 for one thing. And 0-cost cards are way better than any other cost. And it's just stuff for like a Mana Worm to fuel that. If you're talking Wild, it's stuff for Flame Waker to be fueled. So I think this is a lot worse than Arcane Missiles. So I don't really see it doing anything, but whatever. It's fine. Arcane Keysmith is fucking bullshit. This card is just complete bullshit. In Standard, I don't think it's good enough to actually see play. I might be surprised by that. Like, being able to get a counterspell or an explosive runes or a mirror entity or something like that while playing a minion, and it's coming from outside your deck, so your opponent really can't react to it. Like, that's pretty... that's a pretty powerful effect. But I don't know if it's worth playing a 4-mana 2/2 for that effect. I don't know. Maybe if like the Book of Specters deck takes off, this might find its way in as like a 1-of or something. Just because like you need to get the minion density up maybe, and it's not that bad. I don't see it in Standard, but in Wild, this is fucking stupid, dude. The most frustrating games against control mages are the ones where they just keep randomly generating ice blocks. Like, you can't do anything to interact with your opponent, and you're just killing them every turn, hoping they run out of extra lives before they assemble their massive combo and just burn you out. It's so... It doesn't even feel good when... I've been the guy on the other side randomly generating ice blocks. I played Quest Mage when the quest came out for like a month, alright? I have no regrets. I was the asshole, and I get that. But, like, it feels bad when you're the guy and you're like, holy shit, this is my 3rd ice block that I've randomly gained off of tomes. Like, I'm going somewhere bad when I die for this. Like, this is just not good what I'm doing to this other human on the other side of the internet. And this just makes that happen so much more often. There's only like 10 Mage Secrets, I think. There might be like 11. I might have miscounted. But last time I counted, I think there were 10. I didn't like look it up, so I might have... I easily could have missed one, but it's around 10-ish. 10-ish, not tennis. So like 1/3 of the time, you hit an ice block. You put 2 of these in your deck. You hit your 3rd ice block before even accounting for your other random spell generation, like glyphs and such. Almost every game, you just have 3 ice blocks. Just having 3 ice blocks on its own is busted. But this increases the chances of you hitting like 4 or 5 or more ice blocks. It's just way more likely now. This is just fucking... There may be an answer to that when we get to the neutral cards. I think they finally printed secret removal that's actually playable. Whoa. But, I don't know if that excuses it. This is just, ugh. So not good in Standard, probably, but, like, this is gonna do bad things to Wild. Wild is already bad. I really don't like their opinion, or their stance that Wild should just be the dumping ground, and, like, everything's just super powerful. Like, you can't really play... There's so many old cards that you just won't be able to play, because they don't belong to one of these busted decks. Like, you have Immortal Mages and everybody else playing Giants, and then Paladins. It's just like, what? Just, no. Let's move on, but come on. Man. Vex Crow, if you play one spell, this card's okay. If you play no spells, that's trash. If you play, like, 2 or more, this card's really great. So it's a question of how often will you be able to play this and then play 2 or more spells with it. If you put it into a deck and the answer is a lot, then the card's probably doing really good in the deck. And if the answer is not that often, then it's not, and you should replace it. It's a cool design. I'm fine with that. And I think this card can probably do cool things. Tempo Mage is going to be in a weird place come rotation, though. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know. Bonfire Elemental. It's cool. It's just a big dude. Keeps your elemental chains going. 5 mana, 5/5 draw card's really strong. I mean, we were just talking about how they had to remove 5 mana 4/4 draw card from Standard because it was just too oppressive. You lose the spell damage, which is relevant in Mage, but I mean, being a 5/5 does make up for that. And it's an elemental. So yeah. If you make an elemental Mage, this probably goes in it, and it's probably going to be good. Curio Collector, 5 mana 4/4 whenever you draw a card, gain +1/+1. The obvious combo is like Book of Specters. You have Arcane Intellect. There's Aluneth even. So this guy can probably get pretty big, honestly. Like if you play Aluneth before, then this is just always going to be a 7/7 the turn you play it, not counting other card draw. But if you're playing other card draw after that, with Aluneth, you're running into like a weird situation, right? So I don't know. It's just one of those cards where it's like, this doesn't fit into any existing archetype, but it's like, from time to time they just print, it's always a 5-drop. Just these 5-drops that just get really big. Under specific situations. Sometimes they're really bad and sometimes they're really okay. This one seems like it could be okay. I don't know where it fits in, but like if a minion mage deck is a thing, this might be good. Maybe. And then Toki, Time Tinker. Now I don't actually understand this card. I haven't looked it up, and I probably should have before doing this video. But my understanding, just based on what it is this gets you a legendary minion that's rotated out, right? Like a wild legendary? That's my understanding of it. That's pretty fucking dumb. Like, Mage randomness is already kind of out of control. They really need to rein in mages just doing all this random shit you can't play around. This card's not even that great. I just want to say, this card's not that good, I don't think. 6 mana 5/5 is like, eh. And then it makes a card, which is good. Like, it's not bad, but random cards aren't even... Sorry, random legendary minions aren't even that good. They're not really that good. But it's specifically wild, so it's like a lot of the bad legendaries are in Classic, which is a lot of the thing that makes random legendaries bad. You have a lot of like Nat Pagal, Lord Walker Cho, Illidan, the Beast, stuff like that you just really don't want to play or have. This doesn't get those, if I'm understanding it correctly. It would only be from like expansions that have left Standard. There's still a lot of bad legendaries in there, so that doesn't mean it's great. But it does mean that you're just randomly going to get like Dr. Boom, Neptulon, Mal'Ganis, Reno, Kazakus. Like, you're just randomly going to get really crazy shit. And win the game off of that. And Mage doesn't need more of that. So, it's just it's a cool design, but it's just a disappointing design. I guess the most interesting part about this is that Blizzard seems okay letting rotated sets still influence standard, which is really surprising, but well worth noting. So we could see more mechanics like this in the future that reference cards that have left and pull them in. And some of that could be cool, but I don't know. It's got to be done carefully. I'm not a big fan of this kind of thing. But in terms of just power level, I think the card's okay. It's not like really great. It's nothing special, but it's not bad either. 6 mana 5/5's okay, and then you're getting a card back. So that's like solid. It's solid. And sometimes you'll whiff and get something really disappointing, and sometimes you will literally win the game off of it. So, I mean, it might just be worth throwing into any slow mage deck. I don't know. If you have the room. Yeah, I think that's about enough about Mage. Mage is probably one of the most disappointing classes in terms of what they've designed here. like I just look at these 10 cards and I'm just like, what are you doing, Blizzard? Like, the only one I'm happy about is Black Cat, and that's just because it has a massive downside. Bonfire Elemental is cool. Like, this is pushed, but at least it has a massive downside. Everything else is just like... Alright. I think we can stop there.